In my second video on this channel, I was wearing the same shirt. In that video, I was actually talking about Bobo at 2 million market cap. Maybe 4 million. No one remembers at this stage, right? I want to tap into the topic of Bitcoin halving. I want to tap into the topic of what actually will be happening next. I want to tap into the topic of whether or not we would actually be receiving our Bitcoin ecosystem all season, with the launch of runes, with all the people still missing and not understanding shit about this part of the space, with all the Eastern and Asian market actually focusing on this space, with actual money printing happening there as well, with ETFs being approved. So crazy what's actually going to happen moving forward. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and let's actually start. In around 8 hours of me recording this video, probably by the time it's actually going to be published, it would be 4 to 5 hours before the halving, we will actually have the halving. And halving pretty much decreases the value of Bitcoin in two. So Bitcoin right now is $60,000 and it will cost $30,000. We have to understand, obviously I'm joking, we have to understand what type of assets we actually want to buy. And I've been allocating into BRC20 assets and runes related assets like crazy. I'm setting up sniping bots at this stage as well to snipe some interesting tickers that might actually come up with runes. And there are some very interesting things happening on the market because we have classic Solana degen influencers like Ansem pushing people into BRC20s, pushing people into runes as well, which is quite interesting. At the same time, I'm in a bunch of chats, in a bunch of closed groups where you can never actually access, where people are talking about runes, about ordinals, and some of them, they just don't have a clue. Like they're trying to learn, but it's still very hard for them. And I would say that the main reason why they're focusing on it is because someone like Ansem is actually talking about this thing. Because back in December, Ansem was not talking about this thing and they did not care. Some people are just making a decision of, I don't understand this shit, I'm not going in, I will rather just focus on the things I understand. Which is quite wise if you would ask me in the first place, because after runes, after this BTC echo surge up, liquidity will move somewhere else. And as you are following this channel, you probably know my projections. I think liquidity will eventually follow into Ethereum, and we will have our alt season finally, especially with Hong Kong approving Ethereum ETF, and Gary Gensler rumors on resignation from SEC. And as mentioned in the previous videos, I don't think the US have any options other than actual approval of Ethereum ETF at this stage. And it's definitely not priced into the market. On top of that, exactly the opposite is actually priced into the Ethereum at this stage. Decline of Ethereum ETF in May actually priced into the market. That's something important and interesting you actually have to understand, because what is your upside of buying Ethereum if decline of Ethereum ETF is actually priced into the chart already? That's kind of like the situation with Israel and Iran and like all the things with World War III. I don't know like why people are selling the assets. They're selling the portfolios, wanting to rebuy lower and things like that. It doesn't make sense in the first place. We are during one war already, and yet you don't learn, you don't understand what is happening. There are two options. Either over time it will get priced in, and we already see this happening. Most likely we are not going to go lower. Or second option, nuclear war will start and you will not need money anyway. Play chess. You don't have any options. The only option you have is to hold and buy more. This is the only logical thing. This is the only type of behavior you actually need to implement. There are no options here. Either it's going to get priced in, or we will all just die. You will not need money anyway. Just be calm about it. Exactly the same thing with Ethereum and Ethereum related assets at this stage. We're already at the bottom. Decline of the ETF in the US is priced in. It cannot go significantly lower at this stage. Your upside is unlimited. Worst case scenario, like 30% decline, 40% decline, 50% decline. It's like maximum. And it's very, very unlikely from here. So what, like you are trying to protect your 50% downside, missing on tens of thousands of percent upside? Go into stock market. Like this space is not for you. If you're actually scared about these things, if you're actually trying to protect this type of upside, this is not the space, this is not the time. This is the time to be risky. This is the time to be bold. This is the time to buy into assets. I was saying the same thing when Arbitrum was $2. Well, if you got on leverage, you're probably fucked. The same as my longs got liquidated already. But if you're buying spot and you're basically just holding your Arbitrum that you bought at $2, who cares? It will cost more anyway. It will go up. It will surge up anyway. It's 50% downside. Your upside is way, way higher. We have to understand these things in crypto investing. We have not to be pussies because the upside is unlimited. It's like this thing about saving money and making money. You can only save so much. What's the idea? Like there is zero sense in focusing your mental energy on saving money in the first place. Only thing you need to focus on is on making money. Making money does not have a ceiling. Saving money, you can only save so much. That's the same thing. You're trying to protect your downside, risking the upside. So what? BTC goes to 40k. So what? If you're not on leverage, it's all gonna be alright. Today I allocated 25,000 of additional US dollars into the assets connected to ordinals and pre-runes assets as well. We will be seeing how it goes. I don't think I would be sharing it currently, despite the fact I shared it in my private Discord. But I think the main question we have to talk to is runes as a possibility to be sell the news event, because something very, very funny happened. I was laughing from this like loud today, right? There was a presentation from the founder of Telegram, Pavel Durov, who was not doing any presentations in 10 years. Like last interview he was giving before his interview to Tucker Carlson was 10 years ago, where he was shitting on WhatsApp or things like that. And the price of Ton, if you can actually check out this chart, it was surging. Like interview was 3 p.m., 4 p.m. my time, right? So the price was surging up. Let me tell you why. Because at the panel, it was announced that he would be presenting along with the CEO of Tether. So speculation was that the news would be about the implementation of stablecoins into Telegram, which is huge, which is just huge in the first place. Like every chain, each other product after the implementation of stablecoins in Telegram with the partnership of Tether, they just suck ass. Like your base thesis probably won't be doing very, very, very well after that. And I'm quite bullish on Telegram this cycle. The main reason because 90% of Ton supply is actually being held by top 100 wallets. They can pump this shit to whatever price they want because they control the supply if they won't be selling. And it's easy not to sell, pump, and then sell Ton at like $70, $100. I don't know. We will be seeing because it's the largest application with the largest amount of users with the implementation of crypto and updates. Things that he shared are quite bullish. But here we definitely saw the anticipation. Pavel Durov, Tether going up. He's not saying anything about stablecoins during his talk. We're just surging up. Classic sell the news event. That's why I was actually laughing, because like it's classic crypto in the first place. I was speaking with some guys on the conference who are building things in Ton ecosystem, and he was saying that he was on conference with VCs, on Ton conference with VCs in Hong Kong, and they were listening to some updates to some news on Ton, and they were just buying in real time. So it's like gambling for them. They basically just come, they listen to information, and they buy in the real time. And he saw the chart moves like 7% up, 11% down, 8% up. So it's very, very funny. It's like pure gambling in the real time based on information that's actually coming to them. It's also funny how this space is actually being played. The question I might have as well is that whether or not runes are actually going to be the sell the news event, right? And something we have currently with all this ordinals craziness and all these runes things is something that we did not have back in December. In December, we did not have major tech advancement in this space. I would say that pump in December was caused by Bitcoin ETF and essentially pump of the Bitcoin, but arguably it's even better than technological advancement, because when the price goes up, people have additional liquidity, they're willing to spend it on ordinal assets, on assets inside the ecosystem. And technological advancement, yes, it's nice, but if people will not make money, if people will not have money, if people will not have additional liquidity from some catalyst, they won't be playing this casino as well, because halving definitely diminished a lot of portfolios in more than half, which is quite interesting by itself. That's why it's called halving, right? One of the catalysts that we have currently that we didn't have before is these degen type of influencers actually talking about this space. Guys like Ansem. And I'm thankful to Ansem to actually onboarding people into this space. And as mentioned, I think more of them would actually be doing something like this because they know some information in the background. They're talking to Bitcoin projects, they're talking to each other as well. They know that a bunch of layer 2s are launching as well. A bunch of money is actually going to be thrown into marketing on this whole thing as well. But I still see surge in Bitcoin price as the main catalyst. It would be a very, very interesting and ideal scenario if we will have launch of runes. We will be seeing some volumes for maybe 1 to 2 weeks. And then maybe we will start seeing a downtrend in the whole thing because the market will essentially go sideways. The market would chop back and forth, right? And then we would actually see Bitcoin surge up, which would unlock and give additional liquidity to degens, to players on the market. And this will essentially cause surge up in these assets. I kind of see this type of scenario as well. And one issue that I have with myself actually buying into these assets right now, into some of them, because I'm also buying in some very, very degen stuff. Very, very degen. The most degen you can only actually imagine, and I like this degen stuff the most, is that I kind of feel comfortable when I'm actually buying them right now. And I know that in crypto, if you buy something and you actually feel comfortable when you are buying, something is not right. You might actually be used as exit liquidity. It's not right. If you're buying into something and you are comfortable about buying, something is definitely not right. That's one of the issues that I actually have. I have some cash on this side, so if the prices would drop, I would probably just buy more, because I still see short term that we will be having our alt season in BTC. I still see that dominance should have this last jump, last stroke, right? And after that, with the first sign of weakness, we will be seeing flow of liquidity into this. And like the catalysts, they're very, very nice. Launch of runes, launch of bunch of layer 2s, launch of bunch of Bitcoin ecosystem projects, influencers talking about this thing as well, ordinals connection surging up, Ethereum ETF, like a lot of guys currently in ordinals, they're Ethereum guys in the first place. If Ethereum would be surging up, if it's going to go up, they will be doing quite well as well. And I do think that a lot of us neglect Asian market as well. I don't know what the fuck is happening in Asian market. However, they approved ETFs. They definitely have many, many players and a lot of people, like most guys that were participating in ordinals craziness in December, they were like Chinese in the first place. I was minting some first ordinals on some random chains like Zero or things like that, translating Chinese in Google Translate on some random websites with Chinese type of user experience as well. Was quite interesting, but they're definitely at the forefront here, using West as exit liquidity. That's something that Ansem was actually sharing himself as well. That's why I'm actually quite bullish on Asian NFT communities and on Magic Net Money, right? A couple days ago, I made a video about Rune's assets. I can't say a lot of things changed much, just that some of them actually had done 2x since 2 days ago. You had an option to actually get into them, something like Wizard. I was talking about it in that video, and I think a day after, Ansem just called. Ansem just called it on his Twitter, and it surged up because all these degens started to buy into it, right? Wizard is definitely a blue chip asset, along with Pups as well, but there are a bunch of others that I was sharing. And the situation we might be in currently, this part of this belief, because a lot of people, they still are scared. They don't understand that they won't need money if we will have World War III because we all will be dead. You don't need to be scared. You have to play chess. You have to understand your situation. You have to look at the chessboard and make the right moves based on the current situation, not based on your emotions and things like that, right? I see inflow of liquidity with a slight turn in the market, slight surge up. We had a very, very interesting pivotal moment, I would say. I was calling the bottom on Twitter a couple days ago. I would say one more time, I think we are at the bottom, at least for altcoins, because if BTC will go down, I doubt that we will see lower numbers on things like Arbitrum or Sui or other altcoins, as we saw like 0.8 on them, which is crazy. Like right now they're around 1.14, 1.3, 1.25 for Sui, right? Bitcoin, we will see. I think we are very, very close to the bottom, or we already passed the bottom. I think very, very nice things actually await us ahead. I think that war and potential conflict getting more and more priced in. We see whales buying out all the dips connected with the war news. And I really like the change in the sentiment. So many people are calling about lower. So many people are actually selling. It's quite interesting. It's quite interesting that currently you can actually check out the sentiment of more experienced players on the marketplace by the charts of OG memes. Just look at the chart of bobo. See bobo performing nicely on the market currently, and ask yourself, what people who were here in the bear market, why are they not selling the bobo? What are they thinking is going to happen next? Do you think that they would actually be selling this stuff if they would think, because most of them, they have more experience than us, they have more skills and things like that, they would think that we would actually significantly go down into sideways action, things like that. And we definitely have this type of atmosphere, this type of talk, bottom talk on the market, going lower, staying in shorts. It's crazy. All this news, even news about Binance actually swapping their safe fund from BTC to stablecoins. I can tell you something else as well. I can tell you something that they don't talk to you about on Twitter. I can tell you that most large market makers like Wintermute right now, they have more than half of their portfolios in stablecoins, and they were gradually selling the altcoins in the last several weeks as well. This is something you will not hear on Twitter, right? Do you think that market makers are stupid? Or is it all just a giant on-chain manipulation? Just through some wallets that we know of that are actually connected to them, and maybe they're buying from some others. Well, I don't know. We have this type of data, we have this type of information. I'm just understanding my upside, I'm understanding my downside, I'm thinking about money flow, I'm thinking about liquidity on the marketplace, I'm thinking on what's good and nice for me in my current situation. I decide to hold and get some more exposure to BRC20 assets, to ordinals, and to pre-runes and to runes as well. Exciting times await us, as usual. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be seeing you tomorrow. Have a very, very nice weekend ahead.